I'm delighted to welcome to the stage a good friend. He is just a guy that I trust. He knows his stuff. One of the best presenters in the game when it comes to creative and overall strategy. So give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, Jacques Spitzer.
All right. Thanks, Brett. How did you like my surprise holiday music?
It scared me a little bit.
Just like came on, he's like, oh God. Hey, we gotta get in the spirit, in the mood. Thank you, AV team, for that beautiful, light holiday music. We're talking ho, 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 holiday creative today. Brett, I gotta say, there was a lot of information in there that made me a little bit, we'll say nervous about the holidays. And I am not nervous about the holidays at all. And I'm gonna explain to you why. And more importantly, I'm gonna show you what you can do between now and then to actually put yourself in the best position to win. Have lots of examples through here. Half of this is gonna be me presenting. Half of it is gonna be me showing you work that actually works, actually converts, things that are unscripted, things that you can do on your own, or things that you can bring in other people to help you with. But no matter what, you're going to walk away with a plan today for something you can execute that will help you sell more. So, the holidays. What I love about the holidays is that emotions run high. Everything that we saw on that, yes, there's an election. Yes, there's a short buying period. The thing is like, we love people. I mean, gifting, one of my favorite things about gifting is like the Son of God in the story of Christianity starts with people bringing gifts. You know what I mean? Like, gifting is in our DNA. It's who we are, regardless of your religious background. The bottom line is we love to gift. I would also point out, as humans, and I'm gonna embarrass myself for a second, and raise your hand if you're with me on this. Sometimes I'll be going through and I'm like, all right, do I want guacamole on my poke, bowl? They want an extra $1.50, $2. I'm like, I don't know. Like, do I really need that? Right? Do I really need the guac? No thanks, I'm saving money. November 21st rolls around, 30% off this $1,200 boombox that I might use for one party a year. Yeah, I need that, right? Like, that's who we are. That's who we are as human beings. Half of my presentation today is just gonna be leveling with all of us about the psychology of how we buy, why we buy. That's why I'm like, no matter what, I mean, the number of times I have panic purchased something way too expensive for my wife like 3 days before because I'm not sure what I had is enough to show my love. Like, I can't be alone. I can't be alone. And so I don't want you to feel like there is no hope for this holiday. I don't really care what the election does. I don't care what the rates do. Honestly, sadly, like, even if people don't have jobs, they're gonna buy gifts. Like, they're going to do it. And so I'm excited to take you through this. I'm not going to ask this question twice. I'm not gonna be the guy that comes back and says, hey, let's do it again. I wanna hear the first time. Is anyone in this room in the mood to sell this holiday season? That's good. That's good. I'm not gonna have to ask again. And so Brett already talked about this in the intro, but we are talking about Q4 now. And the issue is that we are already getting into the season where we need to get out ahead of things, right? Ideally, we are rolling out new top of funnel creative in September or early October. And so I don't mean that to scare you. So I didn't show up today with like news where it's like, oh shit, like, sorry, you're out of luck. I showed up today with actual creatives that you can do in that time frame that can work, right? Things that are, like I said, completely unscripted, things that will work and have worked over and again, and examples to show you. And so we're gonna look at some of those ad formats. I even have a couple slides that you could take pictures of if you have in-house teams on like how to structure these ads and everything else. And then we're gonna end my presentation this morning on YouTube TV creatives, because we're seeing that become a bigger and bigger part. I will say, YouTube TV creative is really just, when I say that, I just mean any sort of connected television creative, which I would say half of our clients invest pretty heavily in. And so it also translates over to linear as well. But we're gonna talk specific to YouTube TV creative. Perfect. So before we just jump right in, some of you in the room know about Raindrop, know about me, know about the background of our company. Many of you may not. I think the most important thing to know for this presentation today, because we're talking YouTube, is we have the top performing ad probably of all time on YouTube, which is really cool. It was the Dr. Squatch Save Your Skin ad. Between all the different variations, it did almost 500 million views scalably and grew that company by tens of millions of dollars. And then we also have 20 campaigns that have scaled to over 10 million views on YouTube. There's nothing really magical about 10 million. It's just that there's probably not another agency in the world with more than 4, right? So we have done this time and again, and what you're going to see today is the formula that we follow and what we gut check everything against, both for scripted and unscripted work. A smattering of our clients, I would say right now our most visible work is probably the work we're doing for native. If you've seen any of the Bathrobe Deity or Centaur spots, they're running it everywhere. We started with Dr. Squatch when they were 3 million in sales and helped them grow by hundreds of millions. And Sprouts, the farmer's market, is actually one of our largest clients. So a lot of really cool brands that we work with, have the opportunity to work with. If you're a brand in here today that we work with, I apologize if you're not on the slide, you should be. I saw Dude Wipes, I saw Rev Air, it was Daniel Lane here, there we go. So if I haven't put you on here, it's no more than we'd end up with 50 people on this slide. So why YouTube? One of the things that's really interesting to me is the fantastic CPMs that you can get, the cost per thousand. We see brands that on Meta are seeing anywhere from, some of them are seeing $25 CPMs, some of them are seeing even up to $50, $60 CPMs, depending on the category. We're seeing CPMs in the $5 to $10 range at times on YouTube. And so in what I realized in working with these D2C brands that were scaling so hard is that finding affordable traffic on YouTube can change everything. Because think about it, if you might be like, well, the buying behavior is different on YouTube, so I can't track it as closely. All those things are true, but when you can reach, we'll say 5 to 6 times as many people for the same cost, that ad only has to be 1/5 to 1/6 as effective to equal the effectiveness of maybe a Meta ad, let's say for instance, or a TikTok ad. And measuring that performance is what the OMG team does so well. There's also really low creative burnout on YouTube. We have partners that will run a winning creative for 1 year, 2 years even. You won't see that with other channels. So it's a reason to figure out how to get YouTube to work and win for you, is that once you do, you're gonna get great CPMs, you're gonna get low burnout, and there's a huge audience. This is a slide that Google provided for me here, but it is, look at these numbers. YouTube reaches 92% of the US population 18 plus. Like I can't stress enough how crazy that is. In a world where everything is fractured, you talk to younger people, they're like, oh, I'm only on TikTok, I'm only on Reels, and then older audiences maybe like, I'm only on Meta specific to Facebook, I'm only on blank. Every age group is on YouTube. And not only on YouTube, but on YouTube in a significant way. How do I know? Because when my son, who's 9, wants to watch something on TV, he pulls up YouTube. When I go over to my parents' house, who are in their late 60s, I go into their house, guess what's on my dad's computer? YouTube, right? Like everyone is consuming YouTube. It's kind of this silent thing that everyone's on, everyone's using, but not everyone knows how to advertise to. And a lot of people don't know how to make creative for it. I always say, our goal a lot of times is we have to make an ad that's better than that video you're about to watch, or else you're gonna skip it, right? That's a high creative bar that you don't have to have for other platforms. So, to fully appreciate the content that we have for you today, we have to, again, get you in the mood. We were talking about it earlier, that guacamole example. The first thing I need to do is I need to dispel a myth that you might have in your mind. And I was gonna joke that myth is that Santa doesn't exist. I would argue Santa her name is Becky and she lives in Oklahoma, right? She's buying for her entire family. Santa exists all over this country. But the real myth is that people don't like being sold to. I think a lot of us have this mindset that like, people hate ads, people don't want to be sold to. right? I need to make an ad that doesn't sell necessarily. I need to make an ad that just entertains. I'm just gonna let that sit here because I cannot tell you how wrong that is. People love shopping. In fact, someone was just showing me Amazon's new feature where the whole feed is just people demoing products, right? And so one of the reasons that I think we've been successful, I get asked all the time, well, what about brand and performance? And it's asked as almost an or instead of an and. And I'm like, well, people want to be romanced. They want to have their curiosity piqued. As an advertiser, I've always been really interested in you go to a county fair and there's someone demoing pans, for example. There's people sitting there watching, And if I'm honest, if it were a knife demo and they're cutting a shoe, I'd be like, let me see you cut that shoe. And so the reality is that we want to learn and discover new things. If we're on the internet, for example, we're only there to waste time, laugh, be entertained, which is like watching cute puppy videos, or discover new things, right? We want a sense of discovery. And so as we put together these pieces, we approach it from a standpoint of, okay, people want to be, it's not that they want to be sold to, but they want to learn new things. They want to be entertained. They want to discover something new. We also think about the fact that when you purchase something, either for yourself, but especially when you gift it, it's a reflection of who you believe you are, what you value as a person, or who you're trying to become, right? Everything we buy for ourselves or for someone else is a reflection of that. And so I've pulled this up because I'm just it's incredible. We have channels on our televisions that literally just stream people selling things, right? And they sell $10 billion worth of product. Just people talking about things that you didn't even think you needed or wanted, and now you have a hose that will never kink, thanks to QVC. And so the reality is we don't mind being sold to whatsoever. And before I start showing these examples, I need to impress upon you that people will sit through an ad and enjoy an ad if it is entertaining for quite a while. And the more you tell, the more that you sell. This is a Claude Hopkins quote. What I love about these type of quotes is that this quote is over 100 years old. For television, before the internet. The reality is it's always been the case. The more time you spend with somebody, the more you're gonna sell. So as we move through the sequence of different video creatives, I'm gonna start with this top of funnel building, right? What we're gonna build in advance of the actual creative for your bottom of funnel on your top of funnel, middle of funnel for the holidays. I would argue that what you do in October and November is probably just as important as what you do late November through to the end of December. You're all professionals in this room. You understand that. And that's why so much of what I'm going to share today is actually stuff that you can do in September, October, before you start getting too late into November. So let's talk about what doesn't work. Talk about what doesn't work, because I'm going to show you a lot of what does work. I didn't bring, unfortunately, anything that doesn't work, but this traditional story arc is what does not work. You've heard people talk about hooks and everything else. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see on YouTube is that people will put a television commercial on YouTube, expect it to work. It doesn't work that way. So a lot of television commercials have an intro, they have some sort of climax, and then they have some sort of outro. And so this is the new digital story arc that we use for everything, which is we always start with some sort of high problem statement. I really want you to pay attention in every single one of these examples. I want you to really feel and think what they're saying in those first couple seconds. It's always some sort of problem statement right up front. There's always something that's grabbing attention from the beginning, and then we're wanting to maintain connection before we actually even introduce the brands. I think a lot of brands are afraid that if I don't introduce, especially on YouTube, if I don't introduce my product in the first 5 seconds, am I missing out? Because everyone skips after 5 seconds, right? That's the mindset. And it's like, well, no. If you don't earn the attention, then people will never get the second 10 anyway. So don't worry about bringing your product in the first 5 seconds. That's the antithesis of what everyone will tell you. That's even the antithesis of what Google might tell you. No offense, Google. But the reality is the best performing ads we have ever made, a lot of them don't introduce the product until seconds 12, 15, 18, right? Because that's not the goal yet. You can't sell anything if you don't have attention. And so this is the story arc that we go through. We always have some sort of offer resolution. The other thing that we're going to go through today, this is actually the first time I've ever presented on these other formats, so that'll be interesting. But these are the 3 other formats that you can use that do win on these platforms, which is the explainer, the product demo, and the straight offer. I don't know that I brought a straight offer today, but we did some work with Vincero, the watch company, and they used the straight offer, which was, are you looking for the best watch under $200? Right, that was their opening line. And that's what worked for them because it automatically sort of segregated everybody into, I'm interested in that or I'm not. And in that case, they actually weren't paying for some of those impressions because people were skipping before they kept going. But bottom line is you have straight offer, you have product demo, you have the explainer. You don't have to remember all these because I'm actually gonna show you in a bit how they feel. So what if I told you, you do not need a script to tell a compelling story that sells, right? I think we all kind of go into it and like, oh, we have to be master storytellers in order to tell a story. We need to be super mindful about exactly how it's scripted. And don't get me wrong, we do a lot of scripted stuff, and I'm not saying it doesn't work because it definitely works. But sometimes we don't have that luxury, right? And it's not the only way that we can approach things. So I'm gonna show you some person on the street assets. This is gonna be a lot of fun because I'm gonna show you a lot of different examples, things for even tech-forward products versus physical, tangible products. And this is one of those things where what you're gonna learn most from it is just by observing how you feel towards it. I want you to pay attention to that as we go through them. And so what I love about these assets are that we are social creatures, right? We know that. We look to, you see Amazon, you see the number of reviews. We trust other people's opinions. And I will say that UGC and influencer content works. I would say this is one step above that almost, because what you're about to see are people reacting in ways that feel very authentic and make you curious for yourself what that will feel like. Also, and this is a great quote, 79% of consumers trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation from friends and family. Right? It does not surprise me. At all, because I think about my own usage of different websites, and I'm savvy as it gets. And so I put this back up right before I show you this video because you're going to want to feel the story arc. This is a piece that we did for Dr. Squatch, and I'm gonna show you how it evolved over time.
Oh, that smells really good. I would use it, but like if a guy smelled like that too, I'd be like, oh. If my man was wearing this, I would be all over him.
It's natural. It's kind of like being in a forest.
I would use this on myself.
Way better than like the regular store-bought soap.
First, I'm going to have you read our competitors and just go ahead and give that a shot.
Hydrogenated tallow acid.
Pentaerythritol.
Pentasodium, pentatate.
So now go ahead and read Dr. Squatch's all-natural ingredients and tell me what you think of those.
Pine tar extract, pine oil.
Rosemary, cypress.
Oatmeal, sand, and orange essential oil.
Sage, lavender essential oils.
Sounds a little bit better. I don't need a chemistry class for this one.
You want to rub all that all over your body.
Pronounce all those. That sounds great.
It feels good, and it smells even better when you put it on your body.
You don't need much, and it spreads real well.
It's definitely got like a constant, like, really smooth lather to it.
Got that nice, silky, smooth, soapy feel.
My skin feels really smooth. Holy cow.
Definitely better than a normal bar soap for sure.
Cool. So what you noticed there was we also brought it situationally. We brought a camp shower, brought it down to the beach where it would be normal for people to be there, you know, in a place where they could test the product, bathe. And I have a slide on this later, but the bottom line is with a product that you can't yourself see, you can see it and you can hear it if it made sound, but you can't smell it, right? You can't taste it, and you don't want to taste that. You can't taste it, and you can't feel it on your skin. You have people translating that to you through the screen. Super powerful. And so what we do with this is I view everything that we do and everything everyone does as a sort of, we call it like an ingredient. I had a babysitter that used to come over to my house when my son was young, and we'd be like, we're all out of food. I'm so sorry, you know, we need to order more food. And she'd, oh, don't worry about it. And she'd go into her pantry, she'd go into her freezer, and somehow she'd whip up something incredible for herself and for my son out of ingredients that I just assumed were not there. And I think that so many brands have, like when they create an asset like that, it creates these little bits and pieces that you can use in so many different ways. And so I want to show you this ad, which, again, this was one of the best performing ads in YouTube history. What it does is it takes pieces from the video you just saw and intermixes it with our more highly produced asset. And I want you to feel the rhythm of like, it's interesting, we're seeing real people, we're being entertained. I want you to feel how what you can create with some of those interviews can also infuse into your advertising.
You're not a dish. You're a man. Most name brand bars and body washes you rub on your skin are classified by the FDA as synthetic detergent. It's not even real soap. Start treating your body to the natural, nourishing, lathery goodness of Dr. Squatch soap. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
That smells really good.
It smells like my guy's cologne.
Okay.
It smells really good, yeah.
Smells
Really
good?
sexy. Oh, that smells really good. I would use it, but like, if a guy smelled like that too, I'd be like, oh. If my man was wearing this, I would be all over him.
It's natural. It's kind of like being in a forest.
I would use this on myself.
Way better than like the regular store-bought soap.
I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men.
So that ad goes on for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. And again, one of the best performing ads in YouTube history. So I just wanted to present that to you because it's like, it's all the pieces that matter. And if you can, it's a cornerstone piece to get social validation assets for your brand. I also want to show, if I can get it to, a non-tangible product. Because I think, everyone's like, okay, well, that's great for you. What if I'm Loop? What if I'm Loop? What if I'm Postscript? What if I'm doing something that isn't necessarily as tangible? So this is a piece that we did for Jumbo, and I want you to feel the opening. I want you to feel how this moves and why it may work.
Jumbo found your personal information in 7 data leaks. We're here with Jumbo to talk to real people about what they're doing about their online security. Let's talk to that guy. Denise, how many information data leaks do you think you have?
8. Between 10 and 15.
You have 12.
Hopefully they don't find all the pictures my girlfriend sent me.
Now here's the good thing. Jumbo is gonna help you locate where all those leaks are so you can plug them up. They are going to send you an alert to let you know if you have leaks. How does that make you feel?
I wish I would have known about it a long time ago.
If you know internet security is an issue, why are you doing anything to maybe protect yourself?
I think it's the it won't happen to me mindset.
Marcy, what are you looking for right now?
My phone.
Oh, she's gonna download it right here, right now. Take 2 minutes to download and get set up, and then it'll tell you where all of your data leaks are across the internet.
Look at this. Control my online reputation, protect my personal data, stay private on the internet, protect my family online.
I mean, it looks like you could be the spokesperson for Jumbo now. They don't even need me. I'm gonna go now.
I'm just reading what's on here.
Super fun. So obviously had that hook around her realizing her data leaks. But we also literally, if you watch that, walked a user into how to download it, how long it takes, why you should do it, had people address their own sort of like, well, why haven't I done it before, right? All of that was in this piece. And I will say that doesn't happen by happenstance. It does happen by pre-planning some questions that will guide the journey, right? You have to be mindful of that. I'm gonna give you a little tip in a little bit of how to get these people to even interview with you, which is sometimes, I think, people's biggest concerns. For the sake of time, I'm gonna only show one of these. So if you're like, I'm dying for more presentation on this, you can follow up with me afterward to see everything. But I wanted to show you all something in a branded setting. This is a piece that we just, it just launched like a month ago, 3 weeks ago for Rest Duvet. It is absolutely ripping. I think it's probably getting close to 10 million views on Meta currently. I don't know where and how they're all running it, but it is absolutely ripping for them. And I want you to get a sense. This is a similar format, but in a much more controlled setting, right? Instead of being out on the street, we're inviting people into a studio space. But I want you to feel the rhythms of how we tell the story.
We invited hot sleepers to test the Evercool fabric, and these are their reactions.
Ooh.
Wow,
I'm like cooling off already.
This is so comfortable.
So tell me about your sleep problems.
I am literally like Hot Pockets microwavable hot person.
Waking up hot is a constant issue.
I just hit menopause. Every night I wake up with these burners, like literally up and down my back.
I've tried everything and it's just nothing is working.
Okay, hand you one item, and your right hand, I'm gonna hand you another item.
Feels a lot cooler.
This one is so much softer.
This one feels like a cloud.
Oh my God, if I could sleep on this all day.
Wow.
I like that. I get to jump in this?
Looks like it would feel like dipping into a pool.
All right, let's check this out.
This is so soft.
Oh, I'm already asleep.
I've tried everything and it's just nothing is working. I'm always super hot, but this, I don't feel any of that at all.
But now I can actually see myself sleeping through the night and not getting all heated.
This is magic. This is magic in the bed.
It's got a lot of stretch.
I just hit menopause. When I'm waking up,
I'm gonna not make you watch another minute of that, but people are watching another minute of that, and it is absolutely selling a lot of bed sheets, right? I think what you felt in there was a lot of different demos, people that can identify themselves with their life stage. I'm a younger male, I'm a woman going through menopause, right? Everyone in there saying I'm a hot sleeper, and so that is ultimately what we want to see in these pieces. Is you do want to see your different target demographics, if you can, represented in that. And so with the Dr. Squatch stuff, we went straight to the beach and then to the streets to get that. And this one is a little bit more curated. We had people that represented our core audiences that came in and participated. So I said this earlier, but these assets are great because they're all about what you feel, taste, and smell. And so here's a couple pro tips if you want to do it yourself. One is that you want to do them in places where people have a lot of downtime. So a place that's not good typically is like out on maybe an urban street, urban setting where people are going from A to B, right? They're on their way, they're going somewhere. It's always way more helpful when they're in a place where they're not necessarily busy. Maybe they're at the park, maybe they're at a beach setting if you're here on the West Coast. If you're in a place that, like malls are tough because people tend to be, there's like regulations around filming there. But bottom line is you want to be in places that people are more leisurely enjoying their day. This is also my biggest tip. I can't believe I'm giving it away. It's I'm half joking, but I'm half serious because it took us years to figure this out. If you bring $5 or $10 Starbucks gift cards with you, and a lot of times we'll have a simple agreement people sign. If you say, hey, do you want to be in my video today talking about this? They'll be like, nah, I'm good. You're like, hey, I have a $10 Starbucks gift card, and I'm just looking for 5 minutes of your time if you're willing to chat with us about this product. People are like, okay. I mean, it's crazy the difference that you will see just by opening with like, oh, here's a little something in it for you. Do you want to do something with us? They say yes. So going back to these product demo videos, I'm going to go ahead and just show this first one, which is the away luggage. I want you to think of this is something you can do right now, right? This doesn't take a ton of planning, but this is essentially QVC on the internet.
Do you want to demonstrate overpacking the bag?
The things I tend to overpack are all my cooking supplies. I wrap all my knives and my towels. I have like colanders. What else? I'll usually bring
pans. We have sheet pans in the bag.
Yeah. So when I try to get a few more items in to the suitcase, I can grab this.
Zipper goes all the way around and gives it a nice expansion. This compression pad keeps everything really secure for all those extra goodies.
And then I know you think it's gonna topple.
Why?
On the bottom, there's an anti-tipping mechanism, so no matter how big this sweet soft-sided bag gets.
She's staying upright.
All right, you felt
Did you
it.
know most t-shirts come?
So you felt it, right? You felt they went straight into product demo with something that we all have experienced. What happens when you overpack, right? There was nothing complicated about that. There's no reason you can't create content like that between now and the end of September to get live. I also wanted to show these sketch advertisements. They're a ton of fun. I'm gonna show them here. I appreciate Dude Wipes allowing us to show these in advance of them launching it, which is really kind of them. And I want you to check these out because this is a style that we do where it is scripted, but they take place in one setting. And so you can do more of these. There's not a lot of moving parts. They're more like dialogue driven. So if you're someone like the Live Bearded guys and you have great internal copywriters, you can bust these out, and these can be highly effective in that top of funnel, middle of funnel area.
Throughout history, wet has always been better than dry. Bathing, shaving, slip and slides, and of course, wiping. That's why Dude Wipes were invented. The fragrance-free, flushable wipes that'll take you back to a state of childlike wonder. When wiping was wet, clean, and complete. Stop using rough, thin, dry paper. And be on the wipe side of history with Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes, best clean, hands down.
I was waiting for that. I also wanted to show this because what you're going to feel from this point on in the presentation is we're going to move slightly towards the holidays, right? This is where we want to create that contextual connection between your brand and what people are looking for in that moment. So as we start getting into that November, December period, it's always helpful to put things in context. So here's a product in context for a brand like this.
Ho, ho, ho! You know, for hundreds of years I've suffered from an itchy South hole. And it was all because I was using dry toilet paper. And when you're Santa, lots of cookies and milk means you wipe a lot. Damn straight, Blitzen. And when it's time to go, I never go around the whole wide world without Dude Wipes Dingle Bells. Extra large flushable wipes that get the job done. And by the amount of Dude Wipes I slide into the stockings every year, they're getting the job done for a lot of people. 'Tis the season to wipe right with Dude Wipes Dingle Bells. Ho, ho, ho! Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down.
So what I want you to notice about that is these ads, this ad in particular, puts the product in a literal representation, and this can be, when we go through this, a literal representation of this can be a stocking stuffer. So if you've never thought about it being a stocking stuffer, you put it that way and people are like, oh, it's funny, it's interesting, it takes up a lot of space in my stocking, right? And so as a brand, you need to find ways to like contextualize for someone. This is how they're going to experience your product, if it is on Christmas morning or any other piece like that. I will say split screen UGC. Split screen UGC, what you're seeing here, is a great way if you don't have, let's say you have no budget and you have no time, you can take a piece of UGC and put it on both sides of the screen. Brett Curry and team have presented this quite a bit because this is a format that tends to work. Even in your horizontal channels, there's something about seeing two things happen at once that keeps people's attention and demonstrates the product as someone's talking through it. And so that's, again, a quick, easy way to create content that can actually work for your brand. If you're just like, I'm shoestring, I gotta go. Even if you're not, it's just a smart format to test. I'll also say, earlier I showed a little bit of the UGC mashups. Once you have these, let's say you have that product demonstration video that we talked about and we saw earlier from Away, or you have these pieces from the person on the street, being able to take that content and put it together with past content that you've already done for your brand can look and feel like this. This is the piece we did with Rev Air, where we took UGC that they had that was performing well and intermixed it with their more highly produced asset.
Rev Air's gentle, low heat, reverse air tech works in half the time with zero pain to dry your hair in the actual direction of growth, smoothing and locking in shine. In half the time of traditional hair tools and dryers, which means instead of just blowing hot air, you can dry, stretch, and style your hair with better, healthier results. Click the link and do wash day your way with Rev Air.
So what you feel there is you get the benefit of seeing the product, very organically, as you would hope to see on organic social, but then you also get the benefit of that highly produced piece, which gives you a little bit of trust in the quality of this product, especially if it's an investment that you're looking to make. So as we go into those November and December timeframes, we're making this shift now that I kind of showcased in that last Dude White piece, where we need to put our product in context. I use laundry sauce as an example because I just, again, dude wipes or laundry sauce, it's so interesting. I mean, we're literally selling laundry detergent to people for the holidays, and it does well. Like, people will buy this. But we have to put everything in context. I always say that people are painfully literal. Painfully literal. So as you're thinking about creating creatives for your early November launch, I really want you to think about putting that product in the context for the consumer. Don't make them do the mental math. Don't make them make that leap to, oh, if I buy this, it'd make a good gift. Put it in a stocking. Put it under a Christmas tree, right? These are more meta-specific ads. Obviously, you can run statics and PMAX and everything else, but I wanted to bring the full breadth of what you can do. I'll also say playful ad copy, if you haven't already been trying it, can absolutely crush. Especially, these are a little bit more like as we get into the bottom funnel. These are going to be crossing over PMAX meta territory. This is an ad for Goose Creek that absolutely ripped. Our apologies. My daughter went to school smelling like a Christmas tree, right? One of their best performing ads for the holiday season because it evokes a sense of intrigue, interest, and it speaks to the strength of the candle. And then carousel ads on Meta. I bleeped out Meta for you all, but bottom line is people love shopping, right? And so don't be afraid to go directly after them and say, hey, here's all the things that you can buy, especially during this season. And then when we get into the actual creatives for Cyber Monday, for Black Friday, we just see, that is the point in time to do the simple promo code type offer. That's not news to anybody, but I will say that testing variation in that is incredibly important. That's probably the number one mistake I see brands make, because the pink one outperformed the red one like by 70%. Wasn't even close, right? Wasn't even close. And that can be the make or break difference of your holiday season. You do all this hard work, and then you launch one version of that, one color of that. Really want to be mindful about testing it. I'm going to end out today with some CTV creatives, some quick ones, so that you can get a sense of what works on connected television in a 30-second format. I also stole this slide from Google because I cannot stress enough, if you are not already doing meta spend, doing your Google spend, doing your YouTube reach campaigns, which you can see here, the video view campaigns, if you're not already using YouTube for demand gen, it probably doesn't make as much sense to jump to connected television. I need to call that out. If you are already working on YouTube, then you should probably consider adding connected television to your funnel. So for Q4, we want to explicitly call out gifting. Again, people are painfully literal. You're going to feel it in these ads. These are not Q4 specific ads I'm about to show you, but you'll feel the gifting called out very directly. You also may want to test some irresistible high AOV offers, which I'm going to show an example of that worked very well, which was kind of this idea of like buy two and save. I always think it's interesting if you take one full price purchase and then you do the second one half off, for example, that actually is two that are 25% off, the math of it. And you're like, would I be willing to give a 25% discount on some of my stuff? Maybe. But you're gonna get a higher average order value. And then you'll also notice the number of SKUs that we tend to showcase in these pieces. When you only have those 30 seconds, you really want to showcase as many SKUs as possible. So I'm gonna show you 3 ads here, and then we'll wrap. So this is a piece that we did for licorice.com.
Red licorice or black licorice? I say both. Oh, you think you've had licorice? You buffoon. Only those who've experienced licorice.com have quote-unquote had licorice. A curation of delicious flavors, shipped fresh in just days. Scurry over to licorice.com to try licorice and gift them to a loved one. Then get added to that loved one's will. Licorice.com. So good, we earn the name.
Super fun. Also, obviously, gifting very directly called out and then doubled down with a joke about getting added to their will. And this is a piece that we just got done doing for Bordery that they'll be launching. Again, shout out to Bordery for letting us showcase it a little early.
Thinking of sending someone a boring gift basket? Don't. I know, gifting is hard, but don't gift basic. Gift Bordery. Fully arranged gourmet charcuterie boards. Perfect for any occasion. Birthdays, holidays, thank you gifts. Bordery has you covered. Plus, if you forget to get a gift, Bordery ships overnight nationwide. So no more excuses, Cheryl. Don't gift basic, gift Bordery.
So you really felt it there, the number of SKUs, the number of occasions, even though it's going to be running as we get closer to Q4. Birthdays are year-round. These excuses to gift are year-round. I'm also going to show you one last ad for Shady Rays, which was agnostic of the holidays, but I think is one of the most interesting, linear connected television ads we've ever done, just from the standpoint of it's kind of the perfect mix of good hook. It has a ton of SKUs that they showcase, meaning a bunch of different products, and then the call to action is just dynamite. It makes me want to buy sunglasses, and I already own them. So let's check this out.
Stop overpaying for sunglasses. Meet Shady Rays. Shady Rays are constructed with the same durable frames and high-quality polarized lenses as the big-name brands, at a fair price with lost and broken protection. Our sunglasses come in all your favorite styles for all kinds of lifestyles. Plus, we offer fast and free shipping. Go to ShadyRays.com now to stop stressing and start living. Shady Rays, sunglasses for life. Order now and get 50% off 2 or more pairs with code SUN at ShadyRays.com.
Right, so that's a very clear call to action. Didn't feel like it was rushing, right? As we got to the end, short promo code with SUN. So again, that's one that when I was putting together this presentation, I was like, we gotta make a couple more ads like that with that call to action, because that's pretty good to have those save on 2 or more sort of option at the end. I think a lot of you all can think about people who are gifting, maybe they're gifting for someone else. They're like, but I kind of want it for myself too. And so that's why for the holiday season, having that buy one, get one can be a win-win for people as they get something for themselves as well. So if you love this type of content, I will encourage you that we have a free quarterly newsletter that goes out called the Founders Report. I will encourage you to follow along to that, where we put all of this type of content and these kind of insights. And I just wanted to call that out because it is highly valuable. We have about 10,000 people that joined that list already and are seeing a lot of value from it. And then if you're looking to get in contact with me directly or want a link to the presentation today to share with your team or follow up, that's a QR code for me. I think it goes to my LinkedIn. I'll leave it up for 3 more seconds. And with that, I will bring back up Brett. But before I do, Brett, I do want to say that who buys your media matters a lot. There are a lot of you in this room that buy your own media, and by all means, do that. That being said, there are so few people in this world that I actually trust. And when it comes to YouTube, that we actually trust, having worked with over 100 brands over the last 2 years, and OMG Commerce, Brett and his team are one of those very, very few that know what they're doing, gets consistent results, and can tell you what is and is not working for your brand. So I'm giving him my full endorsement because I see the results firsthand over and over again. So Brett, welcome to the stage.